The last thing I remember is an endless void speckled with sparks of light that blink as they study my every movement. I come back to myself with a gasp. As I struggle to get my labored breathing under control, I take a look at my surroundings and review the facts. Everything around me is dark, except for a few lights still blinking on the control panel in front of me. I'm still strapped to my seat. Beside me, there's Captain Ramon Bravo, still passed out. My name is Robert Dykeman, and we made a terrible mistake. We were on an exploratory mission in space, and when we found the end of the satellite signal, we came across an unexpected barrier. A sort of invisible wall built in the middle of space. Our curiosity made us crash our ship against this wall, until we were dragged to the other side against our will. And then, my head starts to hurt and I close my eyes tightly. But when I open them again, I immediately scream. There, on the glass in front of me, there's a hand. Just a human hand, I think. Completely out of place. Completely impossible. Just resting there on the glass outside of our ship. I scream, and I scream until my throat feels like it's going to split wide open. And then I wake up. Again? Was that a dream? My mind is a scrambled mess. But if dreaming or not, I was so scared by a simple human hand out of place. What I'm seeing now is so unexpected that I'm stunned into complete silence. I'm afraid my brain is unable to process it. I'm scared this experience will give me a heart attack. But then I feel hands on my shoulders and a voice asking me, Robert, are you okay? Hey, breathe, please. I'm here with you. It's Ramon, my partner in this mission. He's wide awake now. His eyes go back and forth between my terror-stricken expression and the sight that's right outside our ship. I can't believe it. I can't understand. I mumble. All I can do is try to avoid looking for sense, logic, and reason. I have to accept what I'm seeing at face value for now. The thing is, out there, what we see outside our ship is just nature. It looks as if we had just dropped down in the middle of the most inconspicuous forest imaginable. It's so pretty and nearly perfect. It's as if it had come alive from a picture book for kids. But at the same time, it's so unremarkable that I can think of 100 places like this one just in one of the planets I've been to before. It feels unfamiliar, and like I've been camping there a dozen times before. The feeling is unreal and brings goosebumps to my skin. What happened? I asked Ramon, though I already had a feeling he has to be as clueless as I am. Well, he says, it looks like something went wrong during takeoff, and instead of leaving our planet, we only crashed down in the middle of some forest. His words immediately make me tense and I nearly jump off my seat. I can feel my heart accelerating. Feels on the edge of a precipice. Did I go mad? Was all of this a hallucination? The pure terror in my face must have alarmed my partner, because he puts a comforting hand on my shoulder and then he says, But that would be impossible, right? And you remember what happened. Please tell me you remember what happens. Of course I do, I reply. The wall, the entrance, the eyes. Look! Ramon turns his head away from me to look through the front glass of the ship. There, in the shadows between the trees and the darkness of the bushes, there are those brilliant little eyes like stars, blinking and staring directly at us. Fascinating, Ramon mumbles. Do you think we should go head out and explore further? Robert, are you okay? When he turned toward me again, my friend noticed my state of distress. Seeing those eyes in the dark corners of the forest awoke a powerful memory I desperately tried to block or overcome through the years. I'm staring at the eerily familiar forest, and I remember being a lonesome kid running away from bullies during camp and getting lost in the forest. I see those unnatural eyes staring at us, vulnerable in our broken down ship, and I remember the cold of the night, the hunger, the fear, and the glowing eyes of wild beast. Then, I feel the eyes getting closer and closer as if they could read my mind. We're supposed to be lost in space, miles away from the forest and pain. But still, my whole body aches with the phantom pain of feral animals biting through my flesh when I was only just a kid. Get me out of here! I yell. My brain distantly registers Ramon's worry and fear at my outburst, but I don't care. Get me out of here! Get me out of here! I can't do this again. I can't! The animals will eat me! They still want me! I know it! I've been here before. I see it in my nightmares and now I'm back! Please, God, just get me away from here! My desperate cries must have unsettled my partner badly. But they work. Okay, calm down, Robert, please. He repeats again and again, trying to soothe me down while my body thrashes around on my seat and tears stream down my eyes. Ramon fights against the controls of the ship and the agonizing engines, but he gets the ship to start up. Calm down, Robert, please. Try to get a grasp of your mind. This is not the forest from your childhood. You're safe. This is different. This is impossible. The ship starts to move, but as we should have maybe expected at this point, it doesn't happen as it should. We don't move forward. We don't move upwards. Instead, our ship starts moving in reverse, something it shouldn't be able to do. We are being dragged backwards, away from the trees, away from the glowing eyes, faster and faster. We're falling. Put on your seatbelt. Ramon yells at me as he prepares himself on his own seat. There's a brief moment of pure silence, and it feels like we're back in space, completely suspended without gravity. And then, the splash. We've fallen onto a body of water, and we're sinking, quickly, unstoppably. In a matter of seconds, we're below the surface. And in a minute, we'll start losing sight of the light. I'm terrified out of my mind. Obviously. I've barely recovered from that intense feeling of being back at the spot where I experienced my most intense childhood trauma. And we're thrown here. The memory strikes me all at once. A terrible experience I didn't live myself, but I heard coming from the lips and the tears of the man sitting beside me. Ramon starts screaming before I figure out what to do. No, not this! Anything but this! Damn it! He starts furiously slamming his hands on the control panel in front of him. He hits the buttons with desperation, and he jerks the controllers one way and another, doing anything and everything he can to get out of this situation. But it's hopeless. Ramon, please, listen to me. Please, listen to me. We have to get out of here, I tell him. I try to reason with him, but there's no point. Even if he wasn't struggling against the suffocating grip of trauma, I have a feeling we still wouldn't be able to leave this sinking ship and swim to the surface in time. We're sinking so fast. It's getting so dark and so cold I can't stop shivering. Don't you get it? Ramon yells at me. I've been here before. I was only 6 years old and I was convinced I was going to die. I remember it now. It's just like this. I'm so cold. And there's so much pressure around me. And I'm sinking. Robert. I try to swim, but something's dragging me down. I want to scream for help. Scream for my parents. But that would kill me. As if I wasn't already dead. And I'm dying again. The pure desperation in his voice makes tears fall from my eyes, and my body shakes. I can picture the terror of a little boy drowning during his first visit to a lake so clearly, and I ache for him. But now we're living his worst nightmare again, and I can't shake him out of it long enough for us to escape. You're not alone now, Ramon. You didn't die then, and you're not going to die now. I tell him at the same time I wrap my arms around him. I try to be as gentle as well as reassuring. But the truth is, I don't think we're gonna make it out of this alive. Doom is closer than ever. This spaceship wasn't made to dive in the water. It's just a matter of time before the systems malfunction. A short circuit starts a fire, walls cave, water floods in. Anything could kill us now. Lack of oxygen that will dry our lungs up painfully. A fire or an explosion that will burn us alive bit by bit or all at once. Maybe the structure of the ship will crumble down around us. crushing our bodies to dust. Perhaps the water will get in and my friend's greatest nightmare will come true. The water will fill every dark corner of this room just like our lungs. And as the lights go off in every light bulb, so will die the light in our eyes. Eyes? Ramon whispered. I don't remember eyes before. He lifts his head from my shoulder and I look at the glass in front of us as well. We pull back from our embrace and stare at the wide expanse of water surrounding us. It's not at all dark anymore. There are those eyes again. Dozens, maybe hundreds of them. They're showing up all around us. They shine so brightly. They blink slowly. They float on the darkness and stare directly at us. Suddenly, it's harder to breathe. I'm starting to shake. I feel all my muscles tense up. I'm so cold. I have goosebumps, and I'm once again convinced we're going to die. Are we dead already? I wonder. There's a horrified scream stuck in my throat, but I don't manage to speak a word. The eyes are getting brighter and brighter, bigger and bigger. I'm scared they are going to swallow us alive, take us into their light and eat our souls here in this endless and incomprehensible darkness we're in. Suddenly, for a brief second, all the eyes close, and we are consumed by darkness once more. But when they open again, the light is blinding. It's so strong. It's an all-encompassing light and it burns. Ramon and I scream and try our best to shield our eyes. We squirm and fall to our knees as we continue to scream until I feel my eyelids getting really heavy. I succumb to unconsciousness as darkness engulfed my vision. When I regain consciousness again, I'm more confused than I've ever been. There are so many sounds surrounding me. I can hear subtle voices. There's a pressure over my face. I try to move, but I'm somehow restrained. Finally, I manage to open my eyes. The surprise could have killed me. But after so many shocks in the last hour, I think my brain just couldn't afford to be immediately started. No. This time the fear starts somewhere at the back of my head like a feeble candlelight. Soon, it would grow into a massive forest fire that would take over my every thought. But first... Hey, you're awake! A stranger tells me as they look down on me. I blink, scared, and look around me, looking for something that makes sense. They're pushing me forward on a gurney. There's a mask giving me oxygen. Blinking lights alert me of the presence of an ambulance. There's a big commotion all around me, and a few feet away, Ramon is in the exact same position as I am. Our ship is already far away from me. It's not in a forest. It's not in sinking water. It's not even floating in space. The ship is stationed in a professional and kind of familiar station. It's attached to a large mechanism like claws holding it firmly. It reminds me of the labs where I trained for this mission, the space simulators. The confirmation that the forest, as well as the water, had been a simulation makes me feel sick. Apologies for making you go through all that, the person, whom I assume to be a paramedic, tells me, but I turn my head to the side to avoid looking at them. I can't bear it. It's an automatic defense mechanism, they tell me. A little peek into your subconscious with a scan, fabricating an illusion of a significant scene from your past. Well, it proves to us that you're humans. It's just a little precaution, you know? Aliens have been knocking on our walls for millennia. But, you're one of us, right? You might just be a little sick, aren't you? I'm just one of them, aren't I? Ramon and I just got a little lost. We're just a little sick, aren't we? Except, when they get me inside of the ambulance, they hook me up to a different machine I've never seen before. And a sour smell immediately invades my senses. I don't know if it's poison or if it's anesthesia. I don't know if this is a different race or a different dimension. All I know is that before I lose all consciousness, I finally focus on the face of the nurse talking to me. And the last thing I see in her eyes, her body and face are that of a completely normal and ordinary woman. But her eyes, glowing eyes like little stars that observe me and let me know for sure that whatever this is, this isn't my home.